Hi, this is Gary Kayye. We're here at ISE 2017 in Amsterdam. I'm here with Peter Milligan, who is the Senior Manager of Collaboration for Cisco. Peter, you must be extremely happy. You have launched a killer product.
We certainly did. Back in January, Gary, we announced Cisco's Sparkboard at an event in San Francisco at the Masonic Center on Nob Hill, and it was just a fantastic event. Lots of energy, lots of excitement, and people are here today to see Cisco Sparkboard.
And the most common word to describe the Sparkboard has been revolutionary. I've seen that word used over and over and over, not only by the press, but by the people who've actually used the product. So tell us why it's revolutionary.
Well, Cisco Sparkboard brings Cisco Spark to the physical meeting room. So think about this, Gary. How many times have you walked into a meeting and you've arrived there and you have to figure out which cable plugs into your laptop or your PC? You got to dial a phone number. You got to figure out how to get your video conferencing system up. Well, Cisco Sparkboard is a touch-based, all-in-one collaboration device. It includes wireless presentation sharing, it includes whiteboarding, and it includes video conferencing. All in one beautiful device, and it's seamless and easy to use.
And the key thing there is, and I've played around with it, is that the design is simplification. I mean, it's all about simplifying everything. And as you can see, we're here in the Cisco booth live at ISE. So this is, first of all, there's like 60 people in your booth, so you're going to have to hang out with us for a little bit. We're going to take you on an actual tour of the booth, and you're going to be people walking behind us, in front of us, and all over the place. But I'm hoping that we can be okay with that and just have you take us on a good tour. And the first stop we're going to make is where?
We're going to go and see Johannes, and he's going to teach us and tell us about the Cisco Spark platform. Once you get an understanding of the platform, it'll really help you see the richness of the Cisco Sparkboard and the experience there. So, would you like me to lead the way?
Yeah, let's go check it out. Now, again, the platform is the key because it's what's driving everything behind the technology, the piece of hardware that you're seeing on the board itself. So understanding the platform is the reason why we're going to stop by and see Johannes. Johannes, how are you doing this morning?
Good, great. How are you?
I don't know how we snagged you because when we've been in here the whole time, you've been surrounded by people. So first of all, thank you.
Day already. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Yeah.
So if you can give us kind of an overview on the platform itself, that would be helpful.
So as you said, what we are showing here is basically the Spark platform with cloud-registered room-based systems, the traditional video phones on the desk, the meeting experience on the desktops, and the mobile experience on iPads and iPhones. What we show here is basically the proximity pairing between a mobile device, an iPad in this case, with a room system. And since I'm paired now, as you can see here, I can use this device to place calls from a mobile device to, yes, do a close-up, great, to our friend Peter on the other side. As you can see, I initiate the call on my mobile device, and the video then shows up on this endpoint. As soon as I answer the call, I need to as soon as I answer the call on my desk phone here, right? So now we have this video established between our video phone on my desktop and my room-based systems. The nice thing about this proximity pairing is that basically I can take this conversation with me as soon as I want to get into the really mobile experience, simply by pulling the call to my iPad, which effectively moves the call, as you can see, to the iPad, and then I take my video conference with me, and the call is still established, as you can see, between the iPad and the device on my desktop.
So what you're showing here is that the far site can be a phone, the far site can be another Sparkboard, and the near site can be either a phone, a Sparkboard, or a tablet, or vice versa.
Exactly, and also can be on the desktop as well. So any device, any platform, same experience.
And if they're a Cisco user, it's a familiar user interface that you're using on all devices now.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're trying to get almost the same experience on all the devices and all platforms for all the use cases. Exactly. Yes.
So this is the platform itself, and where are we going to head next, Peter?
Thank you very much, Johannes. So this is the platform. So let's go and see this on the Spark board, and let's see how this all comes together on the Spark board.
All right, so now we're actually going to see the Spark board itself. This was launched just a couple of weeks ago in San Francisco with a huge launch. It's probably the biggest product launch y'all have had in a few years, actually.
You know, it was something we took on this launch, and it was, like I said, it was extremely exciting, and it was a big product launch, lots of excitement.
All right, so who am I going to meet here? Tobias?
Hello, hey. Nice to meet you. Hey.
Are you going to give us a tour of the Spark board?
Yeah,
all right.
I'd love to do that.
So I'm going to come around and get out of the camera's way here, and tell us what we're looking at here. This is actually, what size is this? How big is this?
This is the 55-inch version. We're actually, at the same time, we launched a 70-inch version, but that's going to be available a bit later this year.
Okay, so 55 inches available now, 70-inch version available later. Look at how thin it is. Look at the design of it. It's got a nice aesthetic to it. It looks different than probably most of the panels that you see hanging on the wall.
Yeah, sure it does. And I mean, we've put a lot of effort into the industrial design to make it approachable so that people would like to use it. And I can see you're filming the camera now, and that's actually a conscious decision to pull the camera into the bezel of the screen, so it's not as intimidating for first-time users to walk up to the screen and have a big camera in their face. We try to hide the camera as much as possible and make the whole industrial design very familiar. So we focused around having a tablet design, so touch screen. We have very few buttons.
I'm going to have the person operating the camera come around here so that she can shoot, and if you could do a little demo of what we see here, because you've got, it looks like 5 icons that you walk up and use kind of experience.
Yeah. So first of all, this is a wireless presentation screen. I can share easily from my Spark client here, so just pressing share here, and then you can see that it will open up. I'll just show the desktop from my computer. So that's the main activity that people tend to do while they're in a meeting, working together as a team. They share something, and you can do that wirelessly very easily from the Spark client on your laptop, for instance. And then we have whiteboarding capabilities, of course, as well. You can press here, and then you can see it opens up. We try to have a very basic experience, or mimic the good old analog whiteboarding experience with no fancy color palettes or shapes and things like that. 4 basic colors, and then we have down here in the right-hand corner, there's a pen. It's a passive pen, so it doesn't have any batteries. And then you can just draw here. I'm not an artist. I should have prepared something or practiced my drawing skills, but I'm into cars, so I can quickly draw a car here. We have an eraser as well, and then since this is connected to the Spark Cloud, whiteboards can automatically be saved in the cloud. You can retrieve whiteboards from old or previous sessions. You can share them in what we call spaces, which is an ongoing activity, sort of say. If you have a project, you create a space for that, and then everything is stored automatically in chronological order in that space. So everyone can go in, access at their own leisure, so to say.
Now, what I understand too is if I'm joining a meeting from an off-site location, everything you're doing here, I get to see on my device as well. Whatever mobile device I'm using, laptop, computer, anything I'm using, or any other Cisco product, I can see all the content simultaneously as if I'm in the meeting.
Yes, you can. Let me show you what we can do here. So I've now opened up this is just a demo space. It's called SparkBoard ISE 2017. And what I can do here on my phone, I can press open on SparkBoard. So what I'm doing now is that I'm inviting this device on the board, or my Spark device here, into my meeting. So now it's a member of my meeting.
So even though the screen looks the same, basically you're controlling it. It's the content screen.
Yes.
Even though the user interface is the same, ultimately it is your content that is now being pushed to the screen.
And I can press here on files, and then you can see all of the files that's been shared into this space. So here we have some images. I have a presentation here. And I can now just...
and that's actually being sent from your mobile device, but the interface is coming from the Spark board.
No, this, the presentation we see here is actually in the cloud. Okay. It's stored, so it draws the presentation down from the cloud.
Okay.
And then
so it can literally be anywhere.
Yeah. And here you can see what we're trying to do with the Sparkboard is that we want to try to simplify the meeting experience, where previously you had multiple devices in the room. You had a projector, presentation screen, video system, audio conferencing device, touch panel, analog whiteboard, digital flip chart, all of that in the room, which creates friction in the user experience. And with the Sparkboard, we can clean everything up and make a much more intuitive and easy user experience.
Right, so the key is the platform behind it and the actual hardware and the user interface come together to form the Sparkboard product.
Yep.
Okay, good. Well, thanks for that demo, Peter. Where are we heading next?
So we're going to go over and see Kaushik, and we're going to talk about Sparkboard developers. So let's take you over there.
So I'm guessing that Sparkboard developers is a hint for what? Tell me, Kaushik, what exactly is Sparkboard developer?
Hey, welcome to the Spark for APIs, Spark for Developers session here at ISE. And Spark for Developers is our extension to our Spark cloud-based collaboration platform. We provide a rich set of APIs and SDKs for our developers, which enables them to interconnect their existing apps or websites into Spark World, or vice versa, to get the data out from the Spark World into their application. And to do that, I have a couple of demos if you're interested.
Yeah, so we're going to be able to see some of the products that other developers have made for the Spark platform?
Absolutely. So we have a sample application where we have taken an example of a retail customer, wherein the customer does not have any kind of Spark application, Spark app in their iPad. So now, in order to contact support, all they need to do is, today, if there was no Spark, they would be calling a 1-800 number, waiting on a queue, and waiting to a contact center rep. With Spark, using our iOS SDK, all you need to do is a simple click, and the call goes through from a non-Spark registered endpoint to a Spark registered endpoint, or any endpoint in the premise. So this sets up a two-way video communication, and a rich video is a session.
So a good example of this could be customer service or tech support or something like that, or even just general meeting support.
Yes, it could be general meeting support, it could be tech support. There is a lot of opportunity in retail space. It could be integrating your websites with on-premise equipment as well. So the potentials are unlimited. And in addition to these video SDKs, we have powerful bots and integrations. We have the capability to add more functionality in the form of bots. Bots are getting popular. One of the example of a bot is Ebo. Ebo is an event-based bot, which it can give you information about what's happening here in this event. So you can ask questions in a natural language, like who's presenting, when is the keynote, and so on and so forth. So for Ebo, one such question that I'm going to post right now is, when is Angela Murphy presenting? Right now I'm asking it in a way where normally anybody would ask, and it returns me with an answer. If you look at it, it can give you answers from a prepared set of event-based questions. It can give you answers on FAQs, and it can also, if it does not have the answer, it sends it to a human to answer it offline. So it has the capability, it is intelligent enough to understand natural language and respond. And all these are achieved through our set of APIs.
And so you basically have an open set of APIs that a developer can come to you, and if they have an idea for some sort of plugin or application that could reside on Spark, you're going to decide whether or not it's available, and you're going to make it available, or is it completely open, or do they have to partner with you first, or how does that work?
The APIs are completely open. In fact, we have a depot.ciscospark.com, which is a website where they can publish their own findings. They can partner with Cisco and develop, or they can develop on their own and get it published on the depot as well. So it is a completely open environment. We have a rich set of APIs which are RESTful and very simple to use. We use the modern authentication processes, and we have the most secure form of communication for our developers, making it very rich and very easy to develop things on the Spark platform.
So this, Peter, this means that what you're going to have is literally hundreds, if not thousands, of applications that are compatible with the Spark platform.
Absolutely, that's the plan with the open APIs. And I have to say, we used EBO at our Spark event last month, and it was fantastic. You could learn everything from about where your next session was to where the nearest Starbucks was, all bot-based.
Yeah, and people are sort of are I think inherently intimidated by bots, but when they can talk to them with normal sentence structure, and it's almost like you're chatting with an actual person on the other end. And in this case, with this API, you could actually be chatting with an actual person if it couldn't be handled by the bot.
Exactly, that's the plan. If the bot can't take care of the question, then you escalate it to a person, actual person, to handle the question.
And it's all on the Spark platform, which means everything is it's familiar. It's a familiar platform. If the company is already on your ecosystem, all they've got to do is add the board, and boom, they've simplified all their meeting rooms.
Absolutely, that's the plan. We want to make things as simple as possible for the user. When Tobias was talking to you about the Spark board and its approachability, that's what we want with the Spark application as well. It needs to be approachable and usable.
So where else are we heading today?
We got one more stop today. We're going to go see David, and we're going to talk about in-room controls.
Okay, and that's a big deal because obviously being able to connect and manage a system is the key, and simplification is the point behind the Spark board. So tell us, David, show us, give us a demo, or tell us about what you're going to show us.
Okay, I'm going to show you a concept that we called in-room controls. A couple of years ago, we came out with this beautiful Touch 10 panel that a lot of our customers have come to love, but they have the need to be able to control other stuff in the room, not just the video endpoint. And up until now, that has not been possible.
So for example, like as in like a DVD player, a connected laptop, lighting, HVAC, whatever.
Exactly, like lights, blinds, HVAC, video switches, you name it. And what we've done now, we've opened up for integrators to add additional controls on our Touch 10. So if you have a look at the Touch 10, this is the new UI, by the way, from the CE9. And I have some room control extensions that I've added. For example, a TV selector, TV tuner. I also have the option of controlling some blinds and lights. So if I do the blinds controls here, you'd see that I'm actually controlling a little blind here for the demo. And
what's the control hub behind this? What is the control system itself?
Yeah, so behind it we actually have a Crestron that is controlling the lights and the blinds and the video switchers, but the in-room controls on our endpoint is completely agnostic to the back end. So this could be a Crestron, could be AMX, could be a Raspberry Pi, or a Commodore 64, if you like. Whatever, you can listen to our APIs.
It doesn't matter whose control system you're using, but the interface is the consistent thing,
yes.
and the user interface is the key to the simplicity.
Exactly. So simplicity is something that we're working hard on every day for our customers. And one of the additions that we've added in the latest update on room control is the ability to control an external video switcher. We already have a concept for sharing sources on the touch panel. But now, if I select the screen share, we suddenly have a lot of sources to select. And these sources are actually from an external video switch. But for the end user, they appear as any source on the endpoint. So if I start sharing the laptop, for example, you see immediately it appears as a share source. And then I can select different sources. And what's happening is that we're just telling the control system that the user wanted to watch this source, and we're just setting up events, and the Crestron is actually doing the switching, but we are providing the good user interface for it.
All right, so it's a consistent user interface, and you really don't care whose switcher they use or whose control system they use. Right. It's just the user interface has sort of been standardized. Yes. But even then, with the APIs and with the Spark board platform, ultimately that can be customized as well.
Absolutely. So I mean, the in-room controls works just as well on on-prem systems as it does on Spark registered endpoints. So a consistent user interface regardless of your backend.
So an integrator could actually have their own sort of style for each client added onto the platform itself and the design.
Yeah, it depends on what the client wants to control. So it's a very simple tool to create the extensions on the touch panel. And so if some clients may have 10 things they want to control, another client may just have one thing, and we just scale to that. So very scalable, and you have the benefit of the consistent user interface. There's also a big benefit of not having to worry about software upgrades. Lights and blinds are stuff that you never upgrade for software. We come out on-prem with releases with new features like 3-4 times a year, and on Spark it's continuous. So if we add another feature to the endpoint, if you have a Crestron AMX panel in the room, you'd have to get the programmer back to add those additional new features, because the software on the touch panel is always consistent with what's running on the codec. You immediately get those new features on the touch panel without having to do any reprogramming.
That is a big feature right there alone. So this is a good case for a larger room system, because I think a lot of applications, the Spark board itself could be the control system as well, because you're ultimately connecting all the sources, especially those wireless sources and the sources that can be connected directly. And so for small room applications, it's going to be enough. It's going to be a control system and a display,
yes,
right? And your conferencing system in general. And then for larger systems, now we have the control capabilities. So Peter, congratulations. You've got a great ecosystem going here, and I think this sort of closes the loop on what you guys had launched last year here at ISE, actually.
Yes, it does, and we're super excited to be at ISE this year. We hope that there's much more than what you've seen today here in the booth, so we want to encourage folks to come by and see us here in Hall 11 here at ISE. If you don't come and see us here at ISE, please visit us at Cisco.com. Like I said, we're super excited to be here. There's a lot of buzz in the booth, a lot of buzz about the new Cisco Spark board, and we want to encourage folks to come and see all that we have to offer from Cisco.
Yeah, and they are here in Hall 11. We are going to go around and shoot individual product videos on each one of these with a little bit more detail. And all you have to do is type in Cisco in the video search window, or you can, of course, go to Cisco.com. And certainly, pre-show, there were maybe 3 products that everyone was talking about here pre-show, and one of those 3, and you're talking about 1,200 exhibitors, was SparkBoard. Definitely a lot of excitement, both from the integrators and your competition, quite honestly. A lot of questions from your competition about the product as well. I think a lot of people wanted to see what you ultimately had, but it just got launched 2 weeks ago. And of course, we're going to do a live stream today, where we're going to actually do an official launch of the Spark board here in the EMEA, and you can see that at ravepubs.com as well. Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Gary.
Check out more details at Cisco.com.